Hello everyone, happy beautiful Sunday to everyone. This is the first of my little series. I'm going to present 4 videos of guitarists, vocalists, bass, drums, my current top selections in rock right now. So I initially was going to do a top 10. There's 13 on this list, and I've got kind of like a reason that they're occupying a spot for each case, which I'll talk about. But I wanted to talk about something else. My choice with this and the subsequent videos I'm going to show about these different musicians and the instruments they play and occupy spots in bands is, I'm picking people that are currently active, that are in my collection, and that are kind of current right now on the scene. I'm not necessarily picking out my top favorites of all time. And the reason that I mentioned that is, there's some absences from this list that people will go like, oh, you forgot. No, I didn't forget. It's that reason why. So, down the road, I'll do probably a video with my top picks of all time. And that's a different kind of cast of characters. And for instance, Rush over my shoulder here. Alex Lifeson's always been my very favorite guitarist, and I'm not changing my mind about that, but he doesn't occupy a spot necessarily on this list. Also, not occupying a spot for me is Dave Grohl, but I would put him as one of, an impressive guitarist. People think of him first as a drummer, of course, but now he plays guitar, and I mean, he's written so much great songs and music, and it all comes from guitar, bass, basically. And that's the other point I want to make is I'm more of a riff guy, less of a solo or picking type of impressive picking type of guy. I like riffs more than anything. So I do tend to like a good rhythm guitarist. Most of the people on this list here you would class as lead guitarists, probably, but there are some guys that occupy more of a rhythm type of role, or sort of a hybrid of both. And that brings a name that I do not own anything, but I wanted to mention the name because I'm going to get into his stuff because I'm, following along and realizing, man, I'm late to the party with this guy. But and that's Devin Townsend. He's one of the newer, see, there you go. He's not new. He's been around for a long time, but he's a wicked musician, and I want to get into some of his stuff. I simply don't have any of his stuff yet, but I'm going to get some. So let's hit the list here. Number 1, going backwards, that I want to show you, there's 13 people on this list, is Kim Mitchell. Kim Mitchell is been a favorite of mine for a long time. You'll notice that I've shown some of this stuff before. It's the nature of this list that I'm showing, but there's Kim Mitchell in action. And, I know Kim as a singer, but also a guitarist. I've always been a big fan of his guitar sound. So he evokes a very comfortable memory for me. That's why he occupies a spot. And I still, to this day, really enjoy his guitar playing. It's clean. It's not, there's little crunch to it. It's really a good sound. I like Kim's sound. It fits him very well. Occupying a spot next is a guy that isn't known as a lead guitarist necessarily, but I'll tell you, he sure created a lot of great songs and records based on guitar, and he did back with Oasis and now on his own, and that is Noel Gallagher and the High Flying Birds, and that's his first album. And I love his style. Again, I'm a big fan of that rhythm type of playing. It's a little bit more subdued, a little bit more modest, but I like it a lot. So that's why Noel occupies a spot. He's basically he's a guitar-oriented songwriter, which I love. Now this guy here, I won't speak his name properly probably because you don't hear his name much. They really do stick with talking about the band. I've listened to them on the radio 102.1 The Edge for years. And I really love them, and they're one of my favorite heavy alternative bands. And I saw them live a number of years back for this tour, and it's Billy Talent. And the person that I'm speaking of is Ian Desai. And he is a wicked guitarist, man. I'll tell you, he blew me away when they played, and they're one of my favorite hard alternative bands. So that's why he's getting a spot for me. The next up is wow, you know, a senior member of the game, that's for sure. And I'm just such a fan of him, and especially their new stuff. And I you know, a lot of people, they prefer the old stuff. I get that, I understand it, but I'm digging the new stuff. I'm kind of late to Metallica as far as their classic stuff. Not late, but it's not. I'm really digging their new stuff. I'm really impressed with James Hetfield. You know, he's the singer of the band, but he also plays lead and he plays rhythm, and he just looks like the coolest dude behind that guitar and mic. And I'm so impressed with a guy that's, you know, stayed in the game this long and has sort of overcome some challenges. What a impressive dude. He occupies a spot in this list because I count him as the one of the gods of guitar rock. So, next guy is talk about a younger dude that's making his way and making his mark, and that is Wolfgang Van Halen. You know, I've shown this record before, Mammoth WVH. His new record is out soon, and he's calling it just Mammoth, not Mammoth WVH. This record and the new one that he did, what an impressive kid. I mean, young guy, Eddie's son, played bass on Van Halen tours as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, and now doing this for himself. He records all of the instruments in the studio, and then he has a live band that goes out with him. When he plays live, he concentrates on singing and playing guitar, and I dig his look, I dig his sound. And Wolfgang's occupying a spot because he's one of the young stars of guitar rock to me. And another young star of this brand of music and guitar-oriented music is more of a sort of guitar gunslinger type of guy, and that is Jacob Kriska. Now, Jacob is the twin brother of the singer, Joshua, and he also has another brother. His brother Sam plays bass and their buddy plays drums. So, you know, talk about a talented family, but this guy is the talent as far as instruments in the band. Jacob can really play. He's more of a, you know, it's fresh sound. He brings a fresh sound, but there's very much a lot of guitar great playing on their stuff. They got a new album coming that's out now, Starcatcher. Will be coming into my collection very soon when I get a chance. Next up, occupying a spot as a more of an acoustic fella, the acoustic sound of guitar, is Dallas Green. A big fan of Dallas's playing. Of course, Dallas came from, and still does, play electric rhythm mostly, and some lead stuff with Alexis on Fire, but you know, he gets my nod. I like his playing as City and Color because it's acoustic based mostly, and I think he's a great guy to watch play it because it's very calm and subdued. He's not flashy when he plays, but I like his style. Next up is simply because of the sound. I mean, once you hear his sound, it's just unmistakable. I've loved his sound, that chiming sound. I've loved it since it came out. So whether you're listening to old U2, this is a great live record, or even their newer stuff, Edge has an unmistakable sound and beautiful, really. I've always been a fan of Edge's guitar sound, and that won't change for me. Next up is from one of my favorite bands, Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. And he occupies a spot because, you know, he's one of those guys that he plays both rhythm and lead with Pearl Jam. He's their main lead soloist, if you want to say. This is one of my favorite Pearl Jam records. I love it. A great example of this record of what I'm talking about with Mike is he can play pretty impressive leads, but he also lays down a foundation that is that is very important to the sound of the band. Okay, next up is an interesting one, Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest. So, you know, being a guy my age that we grew up with Priest and grew up with Maiden, and you know, this is his record that he joined in, and he replaced KK Downing. They brought him in, younger guy, and I saw Priest with him on, I think it was this tour back when they came around, and he was wicked. Very fresh, cool style, looked great, and clean sound. I like Richie's playing a lot. So he kind of occupies the spot because of a throwback to our early 80s kind of metal days, and he's done well with it. Next up is, third last guy I want to mention is the other tandem from Metallica, and that is Kirk Hammett. This record in particular, there's some songs on here that I think are really great with Kirk. Atlas Rise, Moth into Flame, man, good stuff. And he's a cool guy and been in also a long time, and I like his playing. I like his newer playing stuff. I think it's funny. There's a lot of guitar people that sort of wouldn't fall in line with that thinking. For me, I like his style. I like his playing. I think it's good. Second last one I want to point out, and kind of like a not underrated. He's not underrated, but not as obvious choice. But I'm a big fan. Is Dean DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots, and all you need to know is take a listen to this record. So Stone Temple Pilots, known as a good hard rock band, of course, but this acoustic record that features Dean and the other guys really taking a step back, playing acoustic, beautiful music, is an example of what an impressive musician Dean is, and the rest of the band. And my number one pick, and it's very modern. He occupies a space because he's so modern sounding and he's wicked. I've seen him twice live, so I can say it with confidence, is Matt Bellamy. This guy is an incredible musician, incredible guitarist, crazy, cool, new stuff that he can do with the instrument. And I love the fact that he's, you know, they've been around a long time, but continues to, you know, he's bring such fresh and new sounds with his instrument, and he's a mind-blowing musician live. So yeah, that's my list. That was fun for me to put together. Obviously, there's some big names that I'm not throwing out there, as I've said at the beginning. That there's a lot of people that I still love, and I'll get to them when I eventually talk about my favorites of all time. But these are kind of my favorites that are still very much on the scene, and I'm enjoying their stuff, and they occupy a spot in my collection. That's why I can speak about them. So hope you like that. Hope you maybe send me a message if you want to, and make a comment if there's some surprises here, or you know, who you like that isn't mentioned by me. That's fun. And yeah, I'll see you again for another video. I'm gonna keep this little series going for the next few. So the next one I'll do, I'm gonna do vocalists, because yeah. Okay, thanks. Have a great day, guys. Bye.